Anyways, what's up, Flockers? We're back with another episode of Flockast. It's your host, Jake Colin, and I'm joined, as always, with Mr. Colin Long. What's going on, Colin?
Jake, good afternoon. It's good to be back. I always feel like we were just talking about what's the last one we've done, and we're like, oh, shoot, time flies, man. You went to a couple shows. I went to a bunch of random shows recently. A lot of music's been going on, dude. I'm excited to talk about it.
Yeah, I think the last time we talked was after the Baltimore shows, and then prepping for Pigeons going to Florida. They just finished up that run, and before that, they did 2 nights at Mr. Small's. I was able to go to those as well, which were some fun shows. Actually, just a Saturday show, I think I went to. Actually, forgetting at this point, it's been so long, been too long, but.
It's been all of 2.5, 3 weeks ago.
It seems like it's been forever.
I know, right? Absolutely.
Yeah. March is quickly approaching the end of March right now. It's the 27th. We got April Fools coming up here in a couple of days, but Pigeons did the co-headlining for 3 dates down in Florida with Lotus. It's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Any highlights you think from that at all?
Going back, I'd have to take a look. I will say though, I did get to see Lotus here in Richmond about a week or maybe 2 weeks before. I think it was like the end of February or so. I got to see the National, and I think that was the first time I've seen a straight Lotus show, and it was great. I mean, it was pretty sparse crowd. It was there was people there, but you can go right up to the rail, plenty of dancing space. It was really cool. It was the first time I really got to really kind of sit and enjoy Lotus. I think that was long overdue. So it was really cool to see them go on the co-headlining tour with Pigeons, bringing all the Lotus fam, the flock together. Cool 3 days. Makes me miss Florida. Few things will make me miss Florida at this point. I do miss the Florida runs because I didn't get much while I was down there. So they were definitely coveted shows, even if the venues were kind of random. Culture Room's a super crazy venue. Stuffy's Music Box is kind of weird. Janice Live is awesome. I will say props to Janice. But yeah, South Florida's got some interesting little club venues that they play there. But I'd say, it's a lot of single set shows, good set list, strong, I'd say all around the board. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the Janice Live would probably be just from the perspective of not being there and seeing how many people posted about it on the flock would be like the Janice, just because I guess during Poseidon's really started after Love Trap in Poseidon, it started raining and stuff, and I heard that the rain wasn't even on the radar, but there was chances of rain, but it really started raining.
Yeah, during Poseidon, I heard it was kind of thematic as well, the way it started coming down, and during kind of towards the peak of the song as well. I heard some people commenting on that. Sometimes Mother Nature works out. I mean, I'd say one of the most fun I've ever had dancing in the rain was at Beacon Skiff.
Beacon Skiff,
that right?
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
That was just the most fun because it wasn't super cold. The rain was kind of warm, so it wasn't really messing you up. So you know what? It was pouring, but we were just raging through it. That was among one of my favorite shows of all time. I can't say I've had more fun in the rain than that.
Yeah, and also it was a pod show, and when it started raining, the pods just kind of disintegrated, and everyone else just kind of went up towards the crowd. So that was fun about that.
Yeah, you can't get COVID in the rain. That's not how that works.
Just washes it away. But yeah, after those Florida shows, they were going from Savannah down to Florida and then back up to Alabama. They actually ended up recording on the Monday that they were supposed to have off Sugar Shack sessions, if you're aware of that. Mm-hmm. So they ended up, that should be releasing soon. They did a little bit of an acoustic set for the show and stuff, but apparently Sugar Shack said it was one of their favorite recordings and bands that have come through in a while. So keep a lookout for that on YouTube.
Yeah, that'll be cool. One thing I do want to call out that from the Savannah show, I don't think I've been more hyped for anything like that Skinner Abracadabra. Throwing it, just that sandwich, it made my year. I was so happy with that. I love Abracadabra. I remember the first time I was seeing, not the first time I seen Pigeons, but the first time I saw them play a Drunk People with Abracadabra in it. That just sent me to a different stratosphere. I was like, it blew my mind. It was so much fun. I loved that cover, and then throwing it in a Skinner was definitely a nice little choice there, I'd say. Yeah, chef's
But
kiss.
after the Florida run, they were coming back up through Alabama, and I met them in Nashville. I picked up old Kendall McCargo on the way there.
Nice.
Uh, so Kendall and I were able to see like good old times riding into a pigeon show nice and early, getting there. He's setting up for photos and stuff like that. So Nashville, Greg came out saying that this is the show to make, and he wasn't lying. It was a
No.
really good, fun show. Another one setter, but it was like a full one, strong one set. Middle of the week, I think this was on a Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah,
But I will say that this show, listening back to it, it really told me that I have been sleeping on Blue Light in a very tragic fashion. I hadn't really seen it live. I think when it was played, it was at a Dome Fest when it was debuted. I was not at the stage. I was over at my vending, so I didn't really get a chance to see it, and I hadn't caught it live. So listened to it a little bit, and then the other day I was at the gym, and this Basement East Blue Light came on, and I was cranking up the treadmill. I was like, incline, speed, let's go. I'm 100% sold on Blue Light now. It took me too long to get on board, but I'm also glad to see that they're keeping fantasy more in the rotation.
yeah,
That I feel like that fell off. They hadn't really played it a lot. They played it at the radio show the other day, the WXPN. Say that right? Anyway, I was every time they pull it out, I love that song, and I'm happy to hear them playing it more in rotation now. So it's not just a rarity anymore.
yeah. And they also had a sit-in from Daniel Donato's keyboardist Sugar Leg on that, and it was actually one of my favorite sit-ins on keys that I've heard in a while. Really complimented the song overall. So if you get a chance to listen to that one, Blue Light and Fantasy, or Collins and I pick for that one.
No
And
doubt.
yeah, had some weird fishes in the Skinner on the encore. But yeah.
Yeah.
And also a little happy 311 day. They played some love song from 311 in that Skinner.
Nice.
But the next night from Nashville, they headed up to Indianapolis at the Vogue Theater. Solid show overall. I just am not a fan of the Vogue.
Really?
Personally.
I've not been
Yeah,
there. What's wrong with it?
It's just got like it's real narrow. It's got a shallow pit area, and then like they do like these reserve seating tables upgrade things. So there's just not a lot of area unless you're willing to like upgrade and stuff. Like the whole balcony area is like all upgrade stuff. So if you want to sit down or chair, it's just not my favorite, dude. I've always had like not the best experiences there, but the show was an overall show. Not my favorite as far as like set list picks go from the 4 shows that I saw. It's a little bit more of like I don't know. You got Right Track, Kiwi, Undivided, Doc. Not my favorite songs, and then Encore, Dawn a New Day. Just more of like a upbeat, like I don't know, more. I'm trying. Finding the words are hard for me right now, but the finishing in this show, the Moonwalk, Other Side Moonwalk, was absolutely great, I would say.
Well, I'm glad they're also bringing Moonwalk back a little bit. I feel like, too many shows used to be between Moonwalks, and that used to be a staple song back in the day.
Yeah.
Seeing more of it, I'm a big Moonwalk fan.
Absolutely. They played it again last night in Steamboat.
Ba-da-bum,
Yeah.
da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
And just the, like, the from Doc into Moonwalk and all of that was just, like, so perfect. It was fantastic.
Well,
And then
and what's the deal with these late second set Docs, but not encore and not closing the show out? It's so weird to see Doc not in that end spot.
I know. Well, I mean, they know that people don't like the doc at the encore, and I mean, I've definitely voiced
What?
that
Since
opinion.
when? I've never
But
heard that
yeah,
before.
I like how they have been squeezing it in between bangers. You know, got feeling fine, and then tran- transition into doc, and then like it's almost like makes doc forgettable, and rather making it as like a cap to the show, as like an encore or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So like you just throw it in there. That's how it should be. It's like, you know, it's like one of those that since you have a banger song, it'll bring you back down a little bit with Doc, and then build you back up, just like the flow of the show. But yeah, I agree. I think it's a good spot just to like throw those in mid set or something like that.
Yeah, no doubt.
And then the next night, headed up to Detroit at St. Andrews Hall. I actually really like this venue. It sounds really good. Dylan
Cool.
had it on point with that. Uh, and and I actually stayed back by the front of house, so right in front of Manny and Dylan. The entire show, except for the encore, I moved up to the front and just raged out to Tubular Bells, which they played. It's the Exorcist theme. This was Friday the 13th, so they played that on the encore.
And
But
in
solid
Day and
set.
Time, have they ever done a Day and Time sandwich before? I don't know if they've ever put a song in the middle of that. I believe it's always a standalone song, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'm not sure. And when it was happening, I didn't even know that it was the Exorcist theme. I was just like, oh, pitches are getting heavy, dude.
Let's
But
go.
after the show, I talked to Kevin, the old tour manager of Pigeons, who lives in Michigan. He was the one that pointed that out. And was like, yeah, he was excited for it as well. So shout out Kevin, the dog. But yeah, you get a little bit of Gator singing in the beginning of Poseidon. Where is my mind? That's cool. Always love it good.
Yeah, that's cool. I like you got to treat yourself and a win a minute. Bad for you. I mean, that's that's a
Yeah.
fun little section right there.
I honestly messed up. I thought Treat Yourself was a different song, and I embarrassed myself on that. I thought it was going to be Go For It.
Oh, the shame.
It was. It was
I bet-
shamed. I was saying it. What's that?
I don't know if you ever watch Parks and Rec, but every time I hear "treat yourself," I just think of "treat yourself." It was just it's a thing from the show. Any Parks and Rec fans out there probably relate, but I can't hear Aziz Ansari every time I read that song. It's in his voice in my head.
But I don't know if anyone else has been noticing this. I think we might have mentioned it before. The canned horns on Feed the Fire. So there's not actually horns on stage, but they're playing like a horns type sound. I guess it's from like Gator's drum pad or something like that. Someone's like footboard.
Interesting.
But yeah, you can hear it. Sounds like there's horns on stage. They did it, and I turned around to Manny and Dylan. I was like, "Hey, who's playing the horns?" They both laughed about it. It was funny. Yeah. And sorry, I got a little bit of the woke flu, so I got to wipe.
It happens.
But yeah, other than that, Detroit, I ended up driving home after this to get ready for the next night at the Bluestone to return to the Coup Stone.
Yeah,
Which was
this might have been the show of the run. It looks like.
You think so?
I don't know. I mean, for me, I went. You know, the Miyagi Labyrinth sandwich. The more I think about, if there was ever a better place to put Labyrinth, it's in the middle of Miyagi. I think that is kind of like the vibe of that fits all the way through. I thought that was such a cool way to kind of mash those two songs together there, then bring it back to the Miyagi for the close. Yeah, Sunny Day, Whoopi. I mean, Porcupine, and You Are Not. What do you think about the new song? And the name of it messes me up. I feel like it was written by someone who doesn't speak English. You Are Not.
Yeah. All right. So the whole first set, Too Long, Blue, and the Sail On. Everyone looked at me when they were playing Sail On, so that was like kind of like cool. I was hanging out with Zip Bronze and Garl, indie Flock fam. So we were right up front when they played that. Right when Greg goes grooving to. They like turned around at me. I'm like, ooh, don't look at me. It was cool. Don't look at me. But then they went into that skipjack. So that's Sail On Skipjack. It was really cool. But also, like we had a really big group, like middle left to like Jeremy's side. We had like Alex, Garrett, Big Cheese, Jack, just like a whole bunch of fan people. And there was like this group of like bros first time at a show, just like being mean. This guy ended up taking Kira's spot at the rail and was causing this big problem. Like second set between you are not all the way to Horizon, so I kind of miss like a lot of this stuff. We ended up having to go get security and stuff because they were so drunk that they were like trying to like give people like high fives, like we good. It's like, bro, just enjoy the show. It's like, I don't care what you're doing, but you're falling into people. Like they were falling. It was just like disruptive, but like ended up making people cry. So like me and Zimbron ended up having to go get security and stuff. So it was just like I ended up missing all this stuff. Like you are not a little bit. Like I was, but not even that big of a deal. The show was really good, everything, but if you're going to make someone in our group cry about taking their spot at the rail, it was ridiculous. He's like yelling at us like, I'm holding her spot. It's like, bro, what are you doing right now? What is going on? It was just ridiculous. And then like these other people were like jumping in on it. It was just like a weird experience second set. Because it was like St. Patrick's Day in Columbus type deal. So
got it.
Like
wasted.
Drunk. People were just drunk. You know, I'm surprised they didn't finish with like a drunk people in the show.
You know, from my experience, whenever there's like a dude or people or, a chick even, right, that are being just disruptive to the crowd and they're just putting it out, it puts me in such a bad headspace for the whole show because in my head I am raging, like I'm just furious. But on the outside, I have to, I just try to, not express. But I remember at the 930 Club, I mean, there was like 3 guys that were pushing into Shannon. I'm like, guys, please, like it's a girl. She's against a wall. You're literally crushing a girl against a wall. Can you just be mindful? We can't move back. And they kept doing it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm ready to fight all 3 of these guys. I'm like, I'm like losing my mind. Finally, we just had to move to a different area before I even reacted because I'm like, this is not how I want to feel right now. But these guys are just, being so disrespectful, being so rude, and then double downing on it. And then thinking because there's 3 of them, they can just bully me now, and I won't push back. And I'm just like, Shannon's like, Colin, just. It's okay. Let's move. I'm like, all right, let's get out of here before I try to do something crazy. But that's where my headspace goes. If you're sitting here ruining the time for people around me, it ruins my time because I get so angry at like just the disrespect. Just be kind. It doesn't take a whole lot of effort to just be respectful of people around you. It's tight. It's sweaty. I get it. But you can also, be mindful of other people. I don't know.
Yeah, but at a certain point, substances overtake any type of coherent thought or anything like that. So,
yep.
But anyways, the encore was tight and the bubble's surreal in the bubble.
Yeah.
Also, I'm not the biggest fan of the Bluestone. It's really? An old church. Is it?
Interesting.
Yeah, it's an old church. It's an old First Baptist church. So, like, the setup, it's not necessarily conducive to a, like, musical show. It's real boomy. Mm-hmm. They have stained glass in there, and it rattles and stuff. So, the recording sounds way better than it did live.
Interesting.
I'll say that. Yeah. It is interesting. But, good crowd. Was able to talk to the guys a little bit after the show. Actually talked to Karina Reichman.
Oh, cool.
Which was funny. Yeah. She apologized to me because, Greg was like, this is Jake. He's one of those guys that's been just there. And I was like, yeah, I've been at your show the past 4 nights. And she's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, it's okay. But she was apologizing because she played the same set every night.
Ah, got it. That's funny.
The same set besides like one or two songs different. But like she played it like, you know, just like a variant of her song set list each night. But that was kind of funny.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
But you know,
That
as
was my
we,
little
you know,
four-way run.
it's a solid little run. I'm so FOMO right now. I have to wait for the Norva shows, 8x10. Sorry, and what else? Oh, and, dude, I was so expecting my 100th show to be at Dewey Beach, but turns out the Mountain Music Festival is that weekend. So I'm going to be 8 hours away in West Virginia that morning, and I was like, "Can I make the drive?" And I'm like, "That's just way too much." Shannon's looking at me like, "Colin, shut up. You're nuts."
Yeah.
So I'll have to figure that out. But yeah, a couple of shows coming up. But it was cool. The World Cafe. It really took me back to the last time they did this back in 2020. I was there, and it was the first time I ever got to meet Jeremy. I had to actually go right from so I left from the show to go to the airport to fly to San Francisco, and then I was going to see them. Wait, that wasn't that trip. I'm confusing ones now. Anyway, but I had to kill time, so it was cool. So after the show, there's this upstairs area that's got like a bar and kind of like a little restaurant for a radio station. It's like a really cool setup. They got like a downstairs venue. It was super rad, but I was sitting there after the show, and I had with my 70-year-old friend and his girlfriend there. That I take to shows all the time. He's just like my old rager buddy, Gary. But we're just sitting there having French fries, and Jeremy walks up, and I'm just like, "Hey, Jeremy!" And he just kind of smiles. He doesn't know me at the time. It starts housing my French fries. He's like, "Can I have one?" I'm like, "Dude, help yourself." He's like, "Oh, I'm so hungry," and he starts just cranking through my French fries. It was the funniest thing. But I got to sit there and talk to him for a while. That was like the first time getting to meet him and having kind of just like we hung out for like an hour, I think. We kept ordering food. As long as he was going to stay and eat, we're just like, all right, dude, we'll keep feeding you. We got you. But it's really cool how they do that. The free at noon shows is a regular thing they have there. But yeah, seeing him go back to do it brought me back some cool memories of last time I was down at that. Made me super FOMO because I wanted to try to figure out a way to go up for it. But Philly's just 6-hour drive for a 1-hour show. It's just a lot for a little. So I decided to not go up there. But super great set list. I thought it was cool to kind of see the mix of songs that they played. The Calm Before the Storm, Mine, Right Track. That Twitch was what I needed. Love Trap got stuck in my head again. I can't get that damn song out of my head, but I'm here for it. Polaroid continues to grow on me. Fantasy, can't go wrong. I thought it was a good mix of for people that probably don't know Pigeon's music on the radio. Here's a little bit of everything. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the same thing. They're playing like more palatable songs. I feel like, Twitch was nice for a day show like that.
Yep.
Love Trap and Polaroid are two of the newer ones that are kind of like earworms. So those are two good ones to play. Especially Polaroid. I feel like that's actually going to be like a new favorite one. It's been sticking in my head too. And then the jam on that is nice too. But yeah. And then after that, they're out in Colorado right now ripping it up. They always rip it up in Colorado, doing some bust outs and stuff. Played Old Town Pub the past 2 nights.
Well, hang on. Before we get to the Mesa, I went and saw Guar the other night here in Richmond. First time ever seeing them. I wanted to see them since I was like 14 years old. That's how long they've been around, and how long I've been around too. But what I thought was really cool, that I looked at the set list afterwards, and they had songs that they had busted out that they haven't played since 2014 and 2015. So Shannon's standing next to a girl who's like a big Guar fan, and they start playing this song they haven't played since 2015, and this girl starts going crazy, losing her mind. And I sit there and I laugh because I'm like, I can relate, right? Like if there's a song you've been chasing or something that hasn't been played in a long time and they bust it out, I know that feeling, and I was so happy for her to have like that moment where she's just like, holy shit, she's freaking out, doesn't even know what to do with herself. But it was super fun. I would highly recommend going to see Guar. They are a rad band. It was some of the most fun. And then other band I saw recently was not a band, I guess it's more of like a DJ musician, Sasquatch. Super fun.
Yeah,
Wasn't expecting to enjoy it as much as I did because it's kind of like more dubsteppy, but he does a bunch of stuff as well. But yeah, Guar and Sasquatch were two shows I didn't think that I'd like as much as I did. Anyway, sorry,
yeah.
so just
Gore
had to
shows
throw
are
that in
fun.
there. Yeah, they're
Definitely
crazy,
theatrical.
no doubt.
But yeah, they're out in
Anyway,
Colorado. Looks like they're having some fun. Did some bust outs last night at least. They had that J Town opener into Moonwalk. But
early moonwalk too.
yeah, early Moonwalk. And everything's been sounding great. Just been crushing it. They always have so much fun out in Colorado. Uh, they got the Dead Guy races tomorrow. It's an
Really,
earlier show. Yeah, it's like the thaw out of where are they playing? At Frozen Dead Guy Days and Coffin Race in Estes Park. I think the show.
coffin race.
And
That sounds interesting.
yeah, I'm not aware of it, but it's some like Colorado ski stuff type deal. But yeah, I guess we could just go ahead and start talking about the rest of their tour and then get out of here. Sound good?
Yeah, let's do it, dude.
All right, sweet. So yeah, we just mentioned that tomorrow they're going to be in Estes Park doing the Frozen Dead Guys show, and then they head to Aspen on the 29th at the Belly Up, and then Colin's going to be seeing on April 11th at Norfolk, Virginia. Oh, one quick note: Gator is not playing any of his personal kits out in Colorado. He's borrowing kits each night. So if you notice that,
Is he just trying
the
to travel
sound.
light? He didn't feel like lugging his kid out to Colorado.
No, and they actually had their front of house console left in Baltimore for a day, I believe. Southwest fucked up, left it there.
Good job, Southwest.
Yeah, so they had to deal with that a little bit, but they got Norfolk, we just mentioned that, April 11th, and then April 24th and 25th, they got 2 nights in Buffalo, and I will be going to those for my 149th and 150th show.
Hell yeah! Talk about the
Yes, so,
town.
well, my PTO for the Harrisburg shows what and 8x10 was denied, so I'm not going to be able to go to those. But they are in Stroudsburg on April 30th, May 1st and 2nd. They're at XL Live. In Harrisburg, going to be fan heavy shows at that one, especially 8x10 the next night in Baltimore.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
May
looking
3rd.
forward to that. That's going to be I really wanted to figure out how to make Baltimore my 100th show. You know, all I got to do is just drive to, Harrisburg, I guess, for one night. It's like just get one out of the way so I can just make it happen there. But yeah, number 98, number 99 will be Norva and XL, or 8x10. So we'll see where I land. But I will keep going. I'm jumping ahead here.
But they are going to be heading down to Viva El Gonzo in Cabo, Mexico. They're actually going to only be playing one set on Saturday, and it's an hour set after Goose. I think 12:45 to 1:45.
Good slot.
So yeah, just one set on Saturday. I mean, it's kind of a vacation for them, honestly.
Yeah. I
Just
mean,
be
hey,
chilling
it's
around Cabo.
go to Mexico for a couple days and work for 1 hour. I'll take it.
Heck yeah, why not?
Right.
But then they are off currently from then until June 6th, where they're at the Island Jam at, I forget the brewery, but a pretty cool lineup for that. I actually applied for vending on that on the 6th and the 5th at a show in Grateful Shred show in Philadelphia the night before. So hopefully be able to make those ones. And then Colin mentioned Dewey Beach, June 7th in
Yeah,
Delaware.
that looks cool.
Yeah, then they are going to be playing with Humphreys, McKee, Moe, and Lotus in Freehold, New Jersey on June 21st, the 23rd,
That'll be a big day.
24th. Yeah. And then they got more Goose after parties in Charleston at the Poorhouse.
Yeah, this is an interesting one because I always think the pigeons play best when Goose opens for them. So this is a great way to have 4 nights of some killer pigeon shows. I was actually kicking around the idea of going to Raleigh because it's actually, I always think North Carolina is so far away, but I'm like, oh shoot, it's closer than Baltimore, and I think Baltimore is like 3 hours. I got 2.5 to Raleigh. So we were kicking around the ideas of going down there for that. And then I'm like, do I want my 100th show to be a late night show? Then I'm like, I don't care. I'm just going to go down for it. I think
So
we're going to try to spend it for those.
the 26th and 27th are Goose after shows too.
Yeah, the 4 nights they're doing of Goose after parties, which is interesting, but I mean that's fine. But my always question is like, how late do they play? I know there's always different rules at different places on what what can and can't do. But if they're playing in Raleigh, like at the Lincoln, well, I guess my question is it just gonna be one long set shows? That's kind of what I'm thinking, or do they play like a full 2-setter and they play till like 2 a.m.? That would be awesome. But I definitely have questions.
Yeah.
But then after that, I looked at flights and then I quickly stopped looking at flights because my goodness, it's expensive to go to Hawaii. But I was like, shit, that sounds like fun. Yeah, but they're playing 2 shows a day. I'm trying to like an early show and a late show. I've never seen them do that before. That's such an interesting thing. Like, how are they going to set that up?
Should be cool though. They might be playing one set each show.
Yeah, but going out to Hawaii, that's awesome. I mean, between going to Mexico and Hawaii, the guys are going to get some tans this year.
They are, dude.
Greg can bust out that beach body he's been working on.
You get that sunburnt face like you did at Lock-In that one year. I think
That's
that was
funny.
the show. But then they have July 18th at the Levitate Music Festival in Massachusetts. July 24th, returning to the Flood City Music Festival in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. Got Dome Fest.
Dome Fest.
August 6th, and then just announced today, Secret Dreams Music Festival in Marengo, Ohio, which is not at Legend Valley anymore. They're going a little bit north of Columbus rather than east of Columbus.
Yeah, it's I've been following Legend Valley drama, but apparently the Gathering of the Juggalos has to be relocated because of, I guess they had too many fire lane fines last year. The insurance went through the roof for them, so they have to relocate. I don't know what's going on there. I'm not even really a juggalo. It's just kind of interesting when I ever hear something about Legend Valley. I'm like, oh, I know that place.
Yeah, they're pretty much just giving that space and everything to Lost Lands.
Yep.
Because they invested so much for that tunnel to go
Makes
underneath
sense.
the road and stuff. Yeah. But a little quick show today. Talk about some pigeons. We were trying to get a guest today for the Florida shows, but unfortunately our recording times are a little bit different than most people's working times. I work second shift, and then so we're usually only able to record during the days, but I got to start getting ready for work. So thank you, Colin. Appreciate of you, my friend.
Appreciate you too, Jake. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next one.